think 2024 is a pretty solid year for new Cars diecast releases. In my opinion, it's genuinely one of the worst years we've ever seen when it comes to re-releases. Yeah, sure, it was gonna be hard to top the great re-releases of 2023. I mean, in 2023 alone, we got Todd the Pizza Planet truck, Jay Shoesteer, and the return of Misty Motorcraft and Johnny Blamer, Tokyo Mater Cars, and the Lemons. 2023 may very well be one of the best years we've ever had for re-releases. And I was incredibly disappointed when the 2024 poster got revealed, and I saw just how mediocre this year's re-releases are. There are really no desirable cars coming back this year. It feels like every year we have at least 2 or 3 or 4 cars that people are really excited to see return. And this year, we're really not getting that. The only solid re-release I could think of for 2024 is Mater with Sign. And yeah, that's a great re-release, but it's disappointing to see that, we're not getting the rest of McQueen's pit crew from the first Cars movie. Those would have been great re-releases. Cars that we haven't seen in years. And yeah, it's cool that this year we're getting like 10 Piston Cup cars from the first movie, but all of those Piston Cup cars are cars that have been out within the past 5 years. In fact, nearly every single re-release in 2024 is a car that's been out in the past 5 years. If you're a collector like me who's been trying to pick up every new release, I started trying to pick up every new release and re-release I didn't have when Cars 3 came out. So to me, the majority of this year's re-releases are completely pointless, and for the entire year, there are only 3 re-releases I need, the lowest amount ever for me. Those being Wingo, DJ, and Boost with Flames. And while I've spent the last 2 minutes complaining about bad re-releases this year, like I already said, we have a lot of good new releases this year, and these aren't half bad. It's honestly really nice to see these guys back. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Wingo with Flames. I picked this guy up back in, I want to say late March or maybe early April. And a few weeks later, I found DJ with Flames, which means it's May, and I already have 2/3 of the re-releases I need for this year, unfortunately. Re-releases to me are half the fun of cars collecting. It's the fun new releases and the fun re-releases, and I'm just so disappointed with this year's lineup for them. But hey, good to get my hands on Wingo with Flames here. It's really nice to see the tuners with Flames return. Unfortunately, they're not labeled as with Flames, which is a annoying problem we've been experiencing for the past few years now, of variants just not being marked as variants. But you can see, unlike their normal artwork, the tuners have been given little flames on the back to still signify, yes, these are their flame variants. We haven't seen these guys since 2015. This is their first time made in Thailand. I never picked up any of the tuners with flames. They were pretty common for a while, being released in 2013, 14, and 15. The only one I've gotten is Snotrod with Flames, who I picked up online, who I think is the best of them because he has a unique expression, and it's like based on Snotrod when he's sneezing. Wingo and DJ are just the same as the regular variants, but with flames. But with just how different the Thailand variants of the tuners look, it's really nice to get them with their flame variants. I know several people who prefer the Thailand tuners, and you could definitely consider them upgrades for some certain characters, so it is nice to get one of their most prominent variants and their new updated Thailand styles. More about that when we open up Wingo here. On the back of the package, you can see Tumbleweed McQueen, Todd the Pizza Planet truck making a surprise return from last year. Mater, this is the long hook Mater. Brush Kerber, and the 2 Kevins, Kevin Shift Right and Kevin Racing Tire, whose names I always confuse, and putting them next to each other on a card back and releasing them in the same year is certainly not going to help me there. Anyway, here is Wingo out of the package, and I never picked up a regular Thailand Wingo. Despite him being so different from the regular variant, I passed on him. And honestly, I was a little disappointed to see when I picked this guy up, and I remembered, oh yeah, Thailand Wingos use a much different color scheme. So now my 2 Wingos are very inconsistent. We have my original made in China Wingo and the Thailand Wingo with Flames. And, before filming this review, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have a part where I talk about the differences between the two and how I much prefer my old made in China Wingo, even though I think this one is more movie accurate. And now that I have him out of the package, guys, Thailand Wingo looks so good, and I need to pick him up the next time regular Thailand Wingo is out as a single. This looks good. This looks really, really, really solid. I am very impressed with just how well they upgraded Wingo. Are there parts of the original I prefer? Yeah, but honestly, I'm very impressed. I think the colors are a bit too saturated on this Wingo. It is something that works for the character. No, I don't think either of these are the perfect Wingo, honestly. I think if you kind of combine elements from the two, then they would come together to make a perfect Wingo. But man, this one, the Thailand Wingo, also has so much more personality to him. Just in the eyes and the mouth alone, you can see this really just reminds me much more of the character than the original here does. I am very impressed with how this guy turned out. I'm very excited because the next Cars Adventures episode actually features this Wingo. I'm not replacing my old Wingo. If I were to replace my old Wingo, I wouldn't replace him with a flame variant. You know, this is kind of a scene-specific variant. But yeah, I'm very excited. Since the beginning of this season, I've been planning an episode involving the Thailand Wingo with Flames. You'll just have to check out the episode later today to see how I incorporate it. Yeah, very impressed with this. The purple's a much deeper color than on the original, but here the purple's two very inconsistent colors. On the side, you've got all this writing and the orange parts, as well as his very unique wheels. Definitely prefer the silver of the original to the more flat, sort of non-metallic color they went with here. I also really like that Wingo's shades stand out a bit more on the Thailand variant here, although I don't think they're the right color. They should be a bit more of a lime yellowish color, as you can see here. Then on the back, of course, we have the flame, which unfortunately isn't all that secure. It's like a soft plastic rubbery piece, unfortunately, but of course it is sort of the highlight, the main difference with this Wingo. And if you really think about it, the tuners have their flames for more screen time in the movie than they don't, right? Almost all their screen time, they have these flames shooting out the back. We got Wingo written there with some writing above it. Let's cheat by looking at the old Wingo to see what it says. Never mind, I have a dent specifically right there. Unfortunately, even with a Thailand update, oh wow, look, the spoiler is thicker, that's interesting. They still didn't add the correct orange details that go on the back of Wingo. His back is still blank. There's a look at the other side, and finally, there is a look at the base. One very cool looking item, one that I like a whole lot more now that I have it out of the package. I did not expect to be this pleasantly surprised by Thailand Wingo, to the point where I almost kind of forgot this was the flame variant. I just spent the whole review talking about how interesting this sort of update to Wingo looks. But yeah, having the tuners with flames back for 2024 is really nice. And it's things like that that make me love the Cars Diecast line. I know I spent the first 2 minutes of this review ranting about re-releases, but another toy line wouldn't have done this. They wouldn't have brought back these super specific character variants again. And I'm interested to see in the future, will we go back to these being the main tuner variants for a few years, like they were back when they first came out? We'll just have to see. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.